The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
Hey, this is Diedrich Bader, Batman, and you're listening to Tech Talk Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Slick.
And I'm Justin.
Welcome.
Happy to have you guys here.
Yeah, welcome. We missed you last week, Justin. You were in Viva Las Vegas. Thinking about
Viva Las Vegas.
Obviously did not win.
Oh, God, no. Do you think I'd be here?
Do you remember the last time three of us, Shawn, unfortunately, we missed you. It was during CES that we went to Vegas.
That was good. Do you know what? Do you know how much Vegas has changed since then?
Really?
It's not even recognizable anymore to when we were back, what was that, 2016, 2017, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's, just so much has changed. When I was there, the morning that I arrived, obviously it was before I arrived because they did it at like 2:00 in the morning, but they imploded the Tropicana.
I was just going to ask if you saw them do that, or at least
I didn't see it, but my coworkers who were there. So I was there for a conference, the World Water Park Association conference at the Paris, Las Vegas. But some of my coworkers who had been there, arrived the day before. They walked out there and at literally like 2 a.m. and went and watched it. They said it was really, really cool. But yeah, the Tropicana is gone, and that's right across the street from the Luxor. That's where we were staying when we were there for CES. But what's going in its place? Can you guess?
Oh, is it going to be the ballpark, right?
Yeah, the new ballpark for the Athletics.
Wait, so you're going to be driving down the strip, and you're going to have a baseball stadium right there?
Right there.
That's kind of weird.
And then you'll have the Luxor, and then behind the Luxor you'll have what is that? Allegiant Stadium, that really horrible NFL team that's like Tom Brady partially owns now.
Don't sugarcoat your feelings there. But from what I understand, though,
Matt's not here, so I can talk about it.
Oh, there you go. But from what I understand is you're going to get a great view of the baseball stadium from the Lux. Is it the Luxor or whatever hotel is there? Or they're building a hotel?
Well, MGM Grand is on one corner.
Right.
Luxor's on the other. And then I guess Excalibur, I don't know. I think they said the views are going to come from the Luxor because that's the taller of the two. But I'm not exactly sure how the stadium's going to be laid out. If I were a guessing person, I would think that they're probably going to have an open air back, and they're going to face the back to the northwest, which will then overlook all of the hotels in the strip. So like when you're sitting at home plate, or whatever, you're looking out and you're seeing the strip. That's my guess.
Did now when you go to Vegas, Shawn, have you ever been to Las Vegas?
Twice.
Where do you normally stay? Everybody has their preference.
I honestly don't remember where we stayed because it was
on
in
the strip?
It was off Fremont Street ish.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah.
I went twice, and it was on my way to San Diego when I moved out there in 2011. So I was with my mom. So as exciting as that sounds, right? It's like I went with my mom.
Vegas with the parents.
The second time I went, it was when I moved back from San Diego in July of 2013, and we got caught in a monsoon, and more than it was impossible to do anything. Like our hotel had like a foot of water in the lobby. Like the half.
I remember you sending pictures.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have. It was a worthless experience. Like we went and ate dinner and went to sleep. That was it.
Wow.
You know what? That's probably the best thing that could happen to you in Vegas, to be honest.
Really?
Probably.
Because but when I would mention that Vegas was unrecognizable, it is also unattainable. I mean, picture this. I mean, I'm staying at the Paris, which is right on the strip. So yes, obviously everything on the strip is going to be more expensive. A bottle of Dasani water, $7.50
for a bottle of water.
Yeah, for a pack of smokes, which I don't smoke anymore, but I just happened to be in line, and the guy got a pack of smokes, $23.
No way.
Yeah,
You gotta be
for a
kidding
pack of
me.
smokes.
Wow,
yeah. It's ridiculous.
Didn't it used to be? I mean, I remember going with my parents when I was a kid, and we'd stay at the I think we would stay at the Tropicana. I remember
Tropicana or the Flamingo or the Sahara, maybe Circus.
I remember meeting Sid Charisse they're famous, dancer from the time period, and her husband, who was an actor, at one of the pools, and it was just, it was an experience. But one thing you could always count on, that $2.99 breakfast. It was like,
God, that is, there's no way in heck you're going to get that anywhere. I had a breakfast sandwich at the Paris from Bobby's Burgers. So the famous chef Bobby Flay.
Oh, yeah.
Now I got to say, the sandwich was amazing. It was like a brioche bun, soft scrambled egg, folded over with crispy bacon and like a Thousand Island dressing and potato chips on the burger.
Right.
And it was like $16. But I'll tell you right now, that was actually worth it. I mean, that tided me through lunch. I mean, I didn't even have lunch.
Wow.
But I mean, just the price of everything. Like, I bought a Starbucks canned coffee. What is that double shot thing?
Yeah.
$9.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then try to gamble. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, the minimum bet on anything you play there is $15.
What? They don't have like the quarter slots?
Oh, well, I mean,
maybe
I don't
downtown.
Play
Yeah.
I play table games.
Oh, okay.
So craps, blackjack, whatever. $15 minimum, and that's when you're playing at like 1 p.m. When it hits like 6 p.m., the minimum table's $25. Like per bet.
I remember playing the $2 tables.
Yeah. Well, I remember
you playing
blackjack.
the $2 tables.
Yes.
Andy, you know what time it is? Andy.
And
I'm on a roll, Slick.
I lost a couple $100. I mean, I didn't really have a lot of time because I was there for a conference and we did other things, but I made a little bit of time. I'd walk down, go to the craps table, 5 minutes later, walk back up to my room, $100 poorer. But here's the cool thing though. The room that I got, I don't know how I got it. It was booked through my company, but it was on the 25th floor facing the Sphere.
Oh, you got a chance to see that.
Well, kind of.
Oh.
It was behind the Horseshoe because the Horseshoe is adjacent to the Paris.
Right.
So I only got to see the top, maybe the top quarter of it.
Right.
But that's all I needed.
Yeah.
That thing is so insanely bright.
Right.
Like I had to do the blackout curtains. And I thought, no worries. This thing will turn off at midnight. Nope.
No.
3 a.m, it is still going strong.
Did you forget you were in Las Vegas?
Yeah. I mean, I woke up at 3 a.m. I look out the window and I see the top of the Sphere. And just so happens at that exact moment was the big smiley face winking at me. And I'm like, I said some choice words. I can't say them on the radio, but I said some choice words at the Sphere and I went back to bed and I closed the blackout curtains.
I don't understand how they can keep or are going to be able to maintain the luminosity of the Sphere with the heat that they have in Las Vegas. I mean, we're talking about the heat that just does not give up. I don't know, Slick, Shawn, maybe is there special, because you work with outdoor screens and that stuff, is there special material that they have on this stuff?
Yeah, I have no idea, to be
Money.
honest.
Money.
Yeah, money. It's coated in money.
They're gonna have to they're probably replacing panels every day on that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
about
just
every
happened to
day,
see a
but
special on what was it, Times Square, and the special was they were putting up the billboards and all that kind of stuff, and they were talking about they literally, they have all these spare panels and they have to replace them constantly, and it's literally plug and play.
yeah,
Really?
no, definitely plug and play. But I'll tell you right now, I've been to Times Square, and I'm sure some of you have too. I remember walking through Times Square in the dead of winter, and when those LED panels, those billboards would light up, you could feel the heat off of them. And we're talking LED. I can't even imagine standing next to the Sphere and what that would feel like the feeling of the solar radiation from that thing.
It's funny because in developing the Sphere, do you guys remember? I don't remember any discussion about it. Any talk about
it just
this
appeared.
It just all of a sudden, boom, it was there. U2 was going to be the opening act, and this thing was going to be able to change. And I've seen the yellow face, people flying out of Vegas with looking at them while they were flying.
Yeah. Well, there's it faces the golf course. I think it's the Wynn golf course, and it perfectly lines up with the 18th hole. And so what they did is they actually programmed the Sphere to have the smiley face look down at the 18th hole green
Oh, wow.
and laugh.
Oh, that's great.
So if you're on the 18th green and you miss a putt, you look up, the thing's going to be laughing at you.
It's pretty cool. One of the things you don't have to pay for in Vegas to see it. It's there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But I mean, honestly, Vegas is Vegas. Vegas is it's like nothing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Vegas is a unique place. And granted, they are trying to rebrand themselves as, instead of the debauchery capital of the world, it's trying to become more of the family-friendly entertainment capital of the world. And
Right.
they're slowly getting there.
Yeah.
But, you don't see the kind of stuff that you used to see on the side of the strip where they're handing out,
Yeah.
women of the night
nothing worse.
baseball cards.
You're
You know what I mean?
walking. You're walking with your wife or
Yeah.
husband, and someone hands you a card, and it's got somebody that's not wearing very much clothing to come see them at some club where they dance. What are
Or
you
just to give
doing?
them a call and they'll come visit your room.
Yeah,
you know what I
it's like,
mean?
come on.
Yeah, you don't see that very often anymore, but
Right.
you still see some stuff like that, but you also don't really see the debauchery on the streets anymore. Like
Yeah.
people just walking around drunk or whatever. Like the police do a pretty good job. And I'll tell you, the Las Vegas Metro Police
Yeah.
do not look like police officers. They look
Really?
like a military.
Oh wow. Well, I guess
Oh
they'd
my
have to.
God. These guys
Think
are
about
walking
it.
around with full AR-15 rifles strapped to their chest, body-proof, armor everywhere, tactical helmets. I mean, and that's just their daily wear.
Wow.
It's
Now
like,
I've heard
wow.
like last time I went there, last few times I stayed at Stratosphere, and I liked it. It was nice. It's comfortable. It's down away from a lot of that activity. But I've heard like places like Bellagio and Venetian and all of that, you can go and not even leave that property.
Oh, yeah.
And have you could be fine. They've
Oh,
got
yeah.
everything
Well,
there.
same with the Paris. I mean, so some of these places are actually interconnected because you think about it, one company owns blocks.
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. Like MGM owns MGM. It owns the Luxor,
Bally's,
the Excalibur, the
yep.
New York. You've got Wynn owns the Wynn, the Aria.
Yeah.
Other places, right? So they interconnect these places. So like the Paris is interconnected to the Venetian and the Horseshoe, which used to be Bally's, and then you got like Bellagio is connected to, I don't know, whatever's next door to that one. But I tell you one cool thing that is actually really cool is when we're coming from the airport to the hotel, they're getting set up for the F1 Grand Prix, which they signed a 10-year agreement to have F1 in Vegas. So it has completely transformed the strip because now half of the strip is shut off. Like, for instance, the famous Bellagio fountains, right? You can no longer just walk right in front of the Bellagio. It's a giant grandstand, a permanent,
Like a permanent
grandstand.
one? Oh, that's got to be weird looking.
Semi-permanent until
Yeah.
the F1 leaves 10 years from now. But you cannot just walk the strip
Wow.
and walk right by the fountains and go, oh, look, the fountains. No, because there's a 4-story grandstand that is semi-permanently put in place.
Oh wow.
And in all the roads too, like the roads, they have the permanent, concrete dividers with the chain link fences.
Right.
Like you would think like that are getting set up for an F1 race. They've got those everywhere. And so when it's normal traffic, normal day, people are literally just driving on the track that is going to be an F1 track.
Wow.
For the race weekend, they shut it down.
Let me ask you, coming up, of course, got another CES, Consumer Electronics Show, put on by the.
Is that even still happening?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah, and they're already taking pre-reg and doing that all because it will happen in January of 2025.
So when are we go? We're going, right?
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, is that something? Do you think it still serves a huge purpose to go to
Shawn
CES?
answer that question.
Sean,
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, consumer electronics aren't going away.
right?
Search Amazon for what you want now. I mean,
Yeah, but
the
do you
whole-
still
the
think
whole-
it's worth it to put your hands on these things, these prototypes, and see this
Yes.
kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I do, from a consumer standpoint. I mean, let's be honest, right? The Consumer Electronics Show is about networking, and it's about businesses getting their hands on the new stuff that they're going to sell at their stores, right? That's what CES is.
Yeah.
But it's a great place for the tech enthusiasts to get their hands on new stuff and play around with it.
Right.
And that's it's invaluable, right? I think it's not as valuable as it once was, where the information wasn't as widespread,
Agree.
where you had to source your information a little bit more strategically, if
Yeah,
you will.
yeah.
But now you've got, we're a podcast, they're a podcast, everybody is a podcast, right? So it's like everybody
You
and
get
their
a
brother.
podcasting. You get a podcast.
Okay,
Everybody
Oprah.
and their brother is a tech reviewer,
Yeah.
and it's in the world of the internet, and even from the time you guys went back in 2017 or whatever, how much technology in the landscape of tech review has changed.
I'll tell you, one of the best times, Slick, I'm sure you remember as well, back and Justin, I think were you in San Diego in 2009? Or 2008,
Yes.
actually, 2008.
Yes. I
Yeah,
got out of the Navy in 2008 and went straight to San Diego. Yep.
So it was 2008 for CES. We were just goofing around with the idea, and Slick said, "Why don't we try and get one of these companies to give us a car to drive to Vegas?"
Yep.
I remember that.
And Ford said, "Sure, here you go." They gave us a Ford Flex that we drove from Tucson to they had somebody deliver it to my house, and we drove it from Tucson to.
And then what did you have to
Vegas.
do in return? Just kind of like review it?
Just reviewed it. I drove it to the TV station when we got back, and we showed the inside, showed what it looked like, talked about the drive, and it was good. It was great.
Can you talk to your boy Elon and get us a Cybertruck?
That's
Or
what
a
I was about to
robotaxi?
say. Either a Cybertruck.
Robotaxi?
But
Oh my
there are quite a
gosh.
few electric vehicles out there. We don't have to just talk to Elon. We can talk
Rivian?
to there's the
Baidu?
there's the one at in Casa Grande. I'm trying to remember the name of their
Yeah.
they built them in Casa Grande.
I'm just thinking we could get a Cybertruck though, and we could start
I
here,
don't even
me
know
and
if I
Slick,
want one.
drive all.
I would not want one.
We could drive. We could drive to Indiana, pick up Shawn, then drive to Colorado, pick up Justin, then drive
sounds
to
like-
to
nah, I'm
Vegas.
that sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with the Cybertruck. Let's say we're parking somewhere where we're not supposed to be, and Elon finds us, on the satellites. Did you hear about him disabling that Cybertruck?
No, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he remotely disabled a Cybertruck.
Sean's getting his Google foo out. He's like, yeah, I want to see this.
Wait.
Yeah, no, but this was I don't remember what country it is. But it was some guy. It was one of the military countries, if you will. I'll call it
Oh,
military.
that guy.
Yeah,
It was the Russian warlord guy.
Yeah.
And what they did is they put a 50 cal machine gun on the back of the Cybertruck, and they were like, yeah, look at the new Cybertruck. And it was like a Russian forces
Right.
attack vehicle. And Elon's like, yeah, that's a big nope. And
Yeah.
this disabled the car.
yeah. His thing was Elon gave this to me, and Elon was like, I don't know if I want one. We don't know if he really gave it to him. He never denied it. But
Yeah.
as soon as it got out, like the guy, Elon gave this to me. Well, let me just turn that off.
I honestly, I'm not getting into a war political discussion, but I think that's kind of funny that
It is.
Elon could just be like, yeah, nope, and then just disable the car.
You know what I think is really hilarious? One of the stories I've heard about the self-driving vehicles and the electric vehicles that we've never really thought about. And there has been times, of course, where people will get a car and it's just not all that, not what they can afford. And time goes and they miss a payment here or miss a payment there. These cars can repo themselves.
Yeah.
And that they will basically if think about it, if the person you bought it from or the dealer just says, well, they haven't made a payment in 2-3 months, will repo the car themselves and it'll go home.
Tesla's got that new feature now.
What is that?
Actually smart summon. But that is what they will use to, like, if you want to summon your vehicle from the parking lot or whatever. But that also means that the car itself can then just go nope and go right back to the dealership.
All right, so if each one of you could drive a vehicle to go to Vegas for CES, what would you want to drive, Justin? I mean, you already have a Tesla. Would you want to?
I would want to drive a Tesla Model S Plaid.
A Plaid? What is that?
That's their top of the line. It's their best of the best, most luxurious, fastest, best car
Right.
that they got.
How about you, Shawn?
Man, I don't know. I haven't been really following electronic car
Well, no, just
electric
anything.
cars.
Anything.
Yeah.
Pick anything.
Oh,
A
if I had to
McLaren,
pick a car,
a Lambo.
A Holden SS.
A Holden SS? Really?
What is that?
Yeah, right. It's so Holden is it was
Australian.
GM's Australian offshoot of GM.
Yeah.
So think of a lot of like GM cars in the U.S. They look like the same cars, but they're sold in Australia. It's their V8 supercar, basically.
Right.
Rear-wheel drive, a zillion horsepower, right?
Holden SS. I want to look.
Yeah, they made a version of it in the U.S. They made a version of the Chevy SS in the U.S. I think in 2013, 2014, maybe. Didn't sell well, so they quit. They quit making it. But that's my dream car. Like to have and to drive a right-hand drive Holden SS.
Wasn't the Holden the base model for Mad Max's vehicle in the original Mad Max? Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was. Maybe.
Wait,
but yeah, so the Holden SS is or a Ford Falcon or a Commodore. Yeah.
Oh boy,
I like the Australian cars. I really followed the V8 supercars for a long time.
I'm looking at a picture. Shawn, is this your car of your dreams?
Yes.
We're looking at
well,
that
no,
one.
that's the Ute version, right?
Oh,
there's
that's horrific looking.
I mean, it looks like a El Camino.
It's probably the Ute SS. I'd have to look at that one.
Well, that says the Holden Commodore. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Commodore. So the Commodore is like the El Camino.
I mean, it still looks pretty sick.
But yeah, that's the
sick
Commodore.
as in I think it looks sick as in ugly. It's just that's horrendous.
It's unique.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Slick, how about you?
You know what? I really did enjoy when we had the Ford Flex. I really did. So either something very similar to it with all teched out with all the ports and all that kind of stuff, or if we could get it, or if I could get it, like an electric motorhome or something. Just, because I like space.
Do they make them yet? An electric motorhome?
I don't think so. I'm just saying. You're saying if I could. If I had a good car,
I don't think it would be even feasible with the
or electric van.
Well, no, electric van, sure. I think they got the Toyotas. I think have an electric van.
Drive an Amazon truck.
A motorhome though would be interesting to see, but I think just with the given state of how big the batteries are and how much torque and power a motorhome would need, I think you would just end up like being way over the limit of weight to your weight to thrust ratio. I don't think it would be feasible. Maybe in the future it would be.
Right.
I just want a bunch of captain chairs in there with ports and satellite link and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah.
Why don't we just get you the Star Trek thingy?
Oh, you mean the shuttle? Sure.
Yeah. You can fly it there. That's one of the things at CES that we'll probably see for 2025 is the flying vehicles, personal flying vehicles, taxis. Every year they kind of come up with a different iteration of it. We'll see a lot of electronic vehicles, e-vehicles. We'll probably see, I think this year we're going to see more technology geared at home entertainment. It's taken a kind of a break in the last couple of years.
Do you think that will be the theme? Because remember, the theme that was going on when we were there back in 2016 was
drones, wasn't it?
It was drones.
Yeah.
Everything drones. Shawn would have just been like a kid in a candy store.
I was, even though I wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was all. I was in the thick of it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is what do you think? I think it's going to be AI.
Maybe integration with AI?
Well, I mean, I think we're going to see like personal AI assistants, like the Tesla one. I think there's.
Did that really happen? Did they really have robots walking around?
There's no way. No, they were being remotely controlled.
They had to have been. Yeah. It was.
I think you're going to see announcement of newer phones with AI. I think you're going to see advancements in whatever Apple does with their. I don't want to even call it Apple Intelligence because I think that's stupid.
It's pretty much.
But I think you're just going to see, I think Justin's right. I think you're going to see a push on personal AI, personalized AI, right? Like you can buy ChatGPT and do more with it for the paid version, but I think you're going to get your own paid version that will learn more directly from you. Right. In your daily habits, and I think you're going to be able to tie it into everything in your daily life. It's going to be able to track you. It's going to be able to automate. It's going to be able to learn your life. It's going to be able to track you. It's going to be able to adapt. It's going to be able to automate your life.
Her.
Yeah. All right.
Her.
Scary.
Tell you what,
the movie.
The movie. Her.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. We come back though. We've got listener questions. We've got more tech for you. You can submit your question. TechGuys@TechtalkRadio.com. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I am Slick.
And I'm Justin. Go to our website. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
TechtalkRadio.com. Go now.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
All right, we have a listener question. It says, hello, guys. This is from Bruce
from
Tucson. It says, I need a device that I can hook up to my smart TV so I can independently control the volume in a headset. I see some devices that make claims but have horrible consumer ratings. Any ideas?
I got one for a product I just looked at. I just looked at the new Roku Ultra, and I mean, if you have a pair of Bluetooth headphones, you can use the remote. They've got a new 2.0 voice remote to control the volume, and it would control the volume in the Bluetooth headphones. So,
Well, I've got a pair of like Bose,
right?
like headphones that I use, and I connect them up to my TV, and I just use the volume control on the Bose to adjust it.
That should work too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I understand.
Now,
what kind of headset he's
are you
using.
connected via Bluetooth to the TV?
Yes.
Yeah. So a Bluetooth device rather than just a headset plugged into the TV should work fine. Is what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, you want to go Bluetooth? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have a Roku TV, you can get the official. This is on iPhone. I'm sure it works on Android.
Oh yeah.
You can get the official Roku app, and you can do personal listening.
Right.
So I could pop in my AirPods, open the app, control my phone, and it controls the volume to my earbuds.
Oh,
and
nice.
I can take the TV volume right into my earbuds.
Right.
Or whatever Bluetooth headphones I have plugged in. That way I can also control the TV. I can, go to my all. It's really great. We use it all the time when Max takes the remote and we don't know where it goes.
I still. But didn't you buy him a remote for a $20 remote so he could have his own remote?
We just went to Amazon and bought another Roku remote and took the batteries out of it.
I have found this works great for kids because August, my grandson, was over even just this morning. Give him a keyboard that doesn't even work anymore. They love keys, and it's teaching them A, B, C, D, E, F.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. So if you've
Feel
got
like an old mechanical one because then it makes sounds.
yeah, they even like that more. I have an old Linux one as well that he's been having fun with. That's Raspberry Pi based, and it's not connected to anything, but he just loves. Although he was putting a blueberry on the Raspberry Pi button. I was like, don't do that, kid.
That's
You can
funny.
ruin the keyboard. But yeah, that's
so
something.
so Bruce, I think honestly, unless you're talking about like only wanting a wired headset, in that case, I'm not exactly sure how to answer your question. But otherwise, I would say just any Bluetooth headset because with that, you're gonna have independent control on the volume from the headset itself.
Yeah, because he said it's connecting to a smart TV. Most of them will do Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Shawn?
I will say they do, there are some. My father-in-law had one of these that took an analog out, so you can take a 3.5 millimeter out to this transmitter, and it was like a very low powered FM transmitter.
Oh, wow. All right.
It would sit behind his TV, and you could wear it right nearby the TV. If you went more than 15 or 20 feet away,
I've seen those.
it would break up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were within eyesight of the TV, worked great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, what if he's talking about being able to control the volume and have the volume come out through the TV and a headset? That might be a whole different topic.
Well, he did say independently control the volume in a headset, so I would think maybe he's just warned. But, the thing is like if you want to watch it without bothering others, then you only have it isolated. But if you have it so you're also turning up the volume, for maybe you have a little harder time hearing, so you're wearing headsets.
That's what I'm thinking.
But if the family doesn't like it, because I have to have the volume louder because I've been wearing headphones for 30 plus years. So my ears are, pretty much the resistance is way down there. So people walk into the room and go, "Why you got it so loud?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That could be the case.
Yeah.
But from based on the question that we received, I think Bluetooth is the answer.
All right, going Bluetooth.
Are you playing with that Roku Ultra yet? The new one?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I did a little test on it. So I have Xfinity, and I've got a box, and I've got the ability with the Xfinity app to go to Disney Plus, Hulu through all my accounts, right? And it's awful. It's awful using the
Really?
Xfinity remote to be able to go. It takes forever. You have to wait. It's awful. Hooking up the Roku Ultra and going directly to those services. Now, the Roku Ultra itself is about 30% faster, but just using that to get to Disney Plus, to get to Hulu, it's like a major difference. So it made it so much faster for me. It made the experience better. And, I'm in that phase now where I may be cutting the cord at some point pretty soon. The Ting wireless or Ting service is going to be available in Marana. I may be picking that up, and I may go ahead and go with YouTube TV like Justin and Shawn have recommended. And then I'll just keep my subscription services and go that route. But having the Roku for those subscription services, it's night and day, Slick. It's seriously night and day.
Has anyone played with the new Google TV streamer yet?
I finally was able to get 2 of them. I don't have them, but they will be hopefully delivered sometime in November. It's so back ordered, but I was able to get my orders in.
I thought it was pretty cool that Google TV is going to include the Roku channel on their lineup, which they said they would do. So because, Roku does offer a lot of offerings. I mean, you don't have to just watch Pluto TV or some of the other services. Crackle's gone, right? Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, they pulled it off.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, I read the story on it just the other day. One company owned 4 different services. Crackle was one of them, and it just, it just shut them all down.
Right. What's the best one? I think it's Pluto. Others will say Freevee. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to say it depends.
Good.
Ion is pretty good too.
Which
Pluto's
one?
good, but the interface is
Ion.
Ion.
Ion. I've never even heard of Ion.
It's a lot of science fiction, if I remember correctly.
I mean, are you talking about streaming for like actual TV shows or just streaming services in general?
Like an aggregator.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
aggregator. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to highly recommend Nebula.
Nebula. I haven't heard of that one
Nebula
either.
is an amazing. So a lot of YouTubers got fed up with YouTube's algorithm,
Right.
and they make like science documentaries, engineering topics. I mean, actual educational videos that are interesting. So they all came together and formed Nebula, and I think Nebula is like $30 a year. And it's all high quality, good content. It's all, engaging, interesting content. I love Nebula.
We're going to have to look into that one. And Ion as well. I have always wanted to recommend Plex because Plex.tv, because I want Plex to be around for a while. Because if you think, is there any other ball game in town when it comes to your own media to be able to rip your DVDs
Kodi.
and then put it, Kodi, yeah, but rip your DVDs, put it on a service, or a drive, and then be able to watch it anywhere, which I know all of us pretty much do.
The thing about Plex is, I'm sorry, but Plex, they just can't get out of their own way.
Right. Agree.
Like they could be so good, but they just keep screwing things up internally, and they just can't get out of their own dang way.
Like what?
The most recent one is hilarious because they rolled this out and it was not an opt-in. It just was you were in it. So let's say the 4 of us, you all shared my Plex server.
Right.
Okay. And maybe I have some adult content on there that you wanted to watch.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Okay.
And it would give you recommended viewing based on whatever other people were watching.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
It would tell me, here's a recap of what Andy watched.
Oh.
Here's a recap of what Justin watched.
Oh, we don't need to know what Andy watched. It's going to be like Hallmark.
But
Hallmark,
people
Girls Gone Wild,
were.
Hallmark.
It was not. Like I'm saying, it was not an opt-in. It was automatically enabled on every. So whoever updated
That
to whatever
is
version it
horrible.
was. So all of a sudden, all these people were like, "Why am I getting told that my brother's watching this video?" Or why is it? So all the people were so mad that this was enabled by default.
Right.
So you can
that's
just
not good.
imagine,
That's
Again,
yeah.
Plex could be.
Justin could say, Shawn watched 15 hours of Lord of the Rings or whatever, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you could just see what other people were watching just there.
Yeah.
Slick's having a
See,
good laugh
again,
with that one.
My point being, Plex is an amazing platform.
Yeah.
But it's just they keep screwing things up.
Oh boy. All right, here's another listener question. Let's go ahead and see if we can get to this one before we have to go to break. But it says, I always seem to think of taxes late in the year. Yeah, it is kind of late, isn't it? Aren't we in October already? It says, but
We're talking about taxes?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't start talking about taxes until like end of March.
but I started my own business and realized I can write off mileage when it involves work. That's a great line. You got to be careful of that one. It says, I don't want to do it the old-fashioned way, writing down the mileage. I had a friend that used to have to do that in a ledger, would write down every time he got in a car, where he was going, where he'd go, the whole bit. They say, is there a way to track my mileage? All right. I'm kind of familiar with it. I've been doing this, so there is a couple of options. One of them has been letting me down a bit. It's funny, that would be the QuickBooks Small Business Program with mileage. And what it does is it allows you to do some basic invoicing, but the cost on this is $14.99 a month. Last year, it went up from $9 a month to $14.99 a month. And it does allow you to track your visits when you go to one place, and then you could say, okay, that's personal, that's business, by swiping left or right. It's like the Tinder way of doing it, right? The problem is that they've had issues lately that I do know of, and that's working with both iPhone and Android smartphones for tracking the mileage. I dropped QuickBooks, but I've kept this, and now I'm seeing $14.99. I had called technical support, who told me that, yes, the engineers are having a problem. They're aware of it, and hopefully they'll have an update soon. It hasn't been working for 2.5 weeks. I pay $14.99 a month.
It sounds like you need to get your money back.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm going to do that. Now, I've been looking at other options. So this is a good question. Mile IQ is another one.
Sounds interesting.
So Mile IQ has 3 different pricing options. They do one that's absolutely free. So if you're a small business and maybe you do 40 drives every month, you can get it for free. And you can classify it just like that, personal or business. I'd recommend if you're doing a personal one, you shut the app out so it doesn't do that. Monthly plan is $5.99 a month for unlimited drive tracking and mileage logging, or the annual plan of $59.99 a year. It's kind of saves you about $12 per year by doing that, and that's all they do.
That is just that's almost like a no-brainer. I mean, QuickBooks Small Business with mileage, $14.99. It's not even working, and you're paying $15 a month, whereas Mile IQ is $6 a month.
Or this person, you could save money and just do it manually, but isn't it better if he gets some kind of log? Isn't there car systems, like cameras that'll log for you as well? I'm sure that Cobra maybe offers something.
Well, actually, you know what? If you've got I don't know about Apple. I'm assuming Apple probably does something very similar. But the thing is, if you got an Android phone, or even if you just use Google Maps, you can revisit your location history anytime in a web browser. And a lot of people don't even really realize this. Check this out. If you use Google Maps or an Android phone or even on an iPhone with Google Maps, go to what is it? It's
your trips or your places, or
so next time you're at a computer, literally try this. This is really cool.
All right.
Go to timeline.google.com. You can type in any day of the any day, any month, any year, and it will tell you where you've been.
Oh, wow.
And it will tell you down to the centimeter of where you were. I'm looking at mine right now. Obviously, I see a bunch of mine in Colorado because that's where I'm at. But I also see my old trip back when I went to visit my mom in South Dakota, went over to Minneapolis. I see my trip to Las Vegas. I see my trip to Japan.
Wow.
I mean,
what is that address again?
Timeline.google.com.
Perfect. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. Brand new drone on the market, and who's going to tell us about that? And Shawn's raising his hands. And Justin is thinking about getting into something once again, going back to the classics, and Shawn will have the answer on that one as well. With more of Tech Talk Radio, I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I am Slick.
And I'm Justin. Send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Another day, another drone.
Oh, another drone? Who's put this one out?
DJI, again. Oh. I really think DJI is just cramming drones down people's throats to get them into the market before any potential passage of the anti-drone bill.
Right.
Because the anti-drone bill, or as they're calling it, the the Countering CCP Drones Act. Right. It passed in the House and it's up in the Senate, but they're not sure when it's going to actually get discussed in the Senate, because that could impact any new drones that come on the market.
So it won't affect the drones we already have.
Existing drones on the market won't be affected by it. So I really think DJI is just trying to get as many of their newer, they're just on a blitz of just trying to get as much hardware in the States and in people's hands before this bill would potentially pass.
Well, okay, so recently, Shawn, they put out the Neo, which people are saying you could fly it inside. I mean, it's small.
The Neo is tiny. It's got the bumpers on. It's very tiny. You can fly it inside. You can use gesture commands. Like you could get that model even without an RC for it or remote control for it. So you can just use gesture and voice commands to fly it.
What's this new one?
But they just announced on the 15th of October the DJI Air 3S. So they've had the DJI Air, then they announced the DJI Air 2, then the 3. This is the 3S. The big upgrades from this one are the new 1-inch sensor camera.
Whoa.
Wow.
So a 1-inch sensor on a drone is a big deal, right? Because that's a big sensor for a small package. And this actually has 2 different cameras on it. It's got the 1-inch CMOS sensor, which offers a 50 megapixel resolution. And then they have a medium telephoto camera with a 1 1/3 inch sensor, so a significantly smaller, providing up to 9 times zoom. So you have a zoom lens and a static wide angle.
Right.
So the benefit of that is you get the advantages of having both, right? Instead of just one doing both functions. Improved low light performance, 1-inch sensor, duh.
Yeah.
Enhanced LiDAR. So a lot of the newer drones have LiDAR on them, which is laser detecting. So it can. They're touting that this can map and learn your area so that it can avoid. They're saying it's the best avoidance on any drone that exists, outside of the way super expensive ones. They're touting that this has their best high-speed tracking, which it says it can track objects up to 31 miles an hour.
Wow.
Dang.
Man.
So this thing is quick.
Right. What's the flight time on it? Do they have it listed?
They don't see the flight time on this webpage, but I would imagine it's probably close to 30. This says with the intelligent battery, 45 minutes of flight time.
Wow.
Really?
Man, that's good.
So
That's
they're
actually really good.
Their key right off their website. Their key points, right? 1-inch CMOS camera, 70 millimeter medium tele camera, the dual camera, 4K 60 FPS, panorama mode, nightscape omnidirectional obstacle sensing, next gen smart art return to home with LiDAR, 45 minute flight time. And then they're saying this has never been a realistic expectation for any drone. They're saying 20-kilometer video transmission.
No way.
That's pretty far.
No. There's no
Yeah,
way.
that's. I've never trusted anything above line of sight for any of my drones. So anybody trying to push those line of sight things is
20
ridiculous.
kilometer is ridiculous.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty far.
That's in perfect condition. So with
You can't
perfect
even
power.
communicate with a real plane 20 kilometers. No.
So yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
right.
And it's priced to be competitive, right? So the drone plus the controller, $1,100.
Yeah, that's about what I've spent for my
The
Mini 3.
the Fly More combo, which has two intelligent flight batteries, the controller, the drone, $1,400. The Fly More combo with the RC2, which has the built-in screen, $1,600.
I wonder if DJI is going to have an issue trying to get people to understand you can buy this drone, own this drone, and nobody's going to come take it away from you. That you're going to be okay. Is that something that is there misinformation you think that they have to be concerned with?
I think so. I mean, I think anybody, especially as if this gets into the Senate and starts getting discussed and passed, there's going to be some. You're going to have the fear mongering, right? You're going to have China's watching all of our stuff.
Right.
Well, yeah, they are. It's just the nature. It's just the nature of it, right? But they're not worried about me flying my drone over my house, right? What the concern for all these drones is that they're worried about people getting them near populated areas. They're worried about people getting them near top secret sites,
Right.
points of interest, high target things like that.
Speaking of that, I mean, what was that news story? All those drones, those high speed, were like going over Air Force bases.
Really?
And they were saying that they were coming from either China or Russia, but they could not track them because they were all in a line They were all like just like a line of drones, and they were all one after another, and they were going at like top speed, like 130 kilometers an hour, and they were flying over U.S. military installations, and the military could not do anything about it because they were not under attack, so they were not going to shoot them down. But yeah, it's all over the news
I hadn't
now.
heard of that. Really?
I did.
No,
I heard. Yeah, I heard a little bit about
it's
that.
all over the
It
news
happened
now.
on December 6th of 2023. The drones ranged in size. It happened over Langley Air Force Base
Yeah,
back in
but
December of 2023.
I wonder if there's some kind of jamming that they could take them down out of the sky by electronic jamming, or I mean, is that
But don't they
something-
go on auto? I mean, if you lose signal, you just this
Yeah, they go
pre-programmed.
auto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are electronic nets that can be deployed.
Right.
There is countermeasures for drones and things like that.
yeah.
Stuff we're never going to know about because they don't want you to know about it.
I know
but-
this has been an issue for law enforcement at the southern border. I know that they've had drones flying over that they believe were cartel controlled drones. So I mean, there's all kinds of issues when it comes to these drones. But again, if you're like us, we love these for the ability to fly, take some great photos. I heard the Air 3S is going to be great for like real estate, for those that are looking to get photos and video of real estate properties that are being sold. That could be a great model for it.
Well, I mean, since drones became a thing, right? 2010, 2011, drones just kind of dropped into the market. Everybody wanted to use them, right? But they were so restricted. When I got my Part 107 license, I was 2 weeks away from getting my pilot's license, essentially, by what the training I had to do to get I had to go to the airport. I had to take a flight certified test with a flight instructor. Like, it was crazy how much regulation I had to go through to get my drone license. And then I was still restricted on where I could fly it based on my location, based on how close we were to the airport, based on if I was using it for work or not. So a lot of that has been streamlined. So now if Justin wanted to go shoot stuff for his DJ business, he could just pop his drone up more often than not anywhere,
Right?
as long as he's
Like doing an
As long
outdoor
as he's
party
not-
or something like that. Yeah.
Well, first off, I couldn't do that if I'm making money off of an event or whatever. I can't use my drone because I need my Part
Using
107.
107, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that it's very easy to get your Part 107s now.
Wow.
The steps involved, and then the process of getting the applications to fly where you need to fly are very much more streamlined now than they were a decade
This
ago.
just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Why would they make it easier to get your Part 107, but then be like, oh, but then, by the way, have fun trying to find a drone. We're going to ban them all.
There are some drones that have been made in the United States or U.S. friendly countries. So, we'll have to see what develops from that. All right, listen, I know that you are thinking, Justin, about DSLR, and you are thinking about maybe getting back into that with mirrorless cameras, and we've talked about film cameras that Shawn has been having fun with. So what is your thoughts, your reasoning for that?
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to keep this kind of short and sweet, but I've been a Nikon guy, right? I mean, when I bought my first DSLR, I went Nikon, and Shawn, I think you helped me pick that thing out back in San Diego.
Sure did.
But obviously, I've never really expanded upon that. I got the starter lens, right? I don't have I'm not invested into Nikon, right? So my question is, I was talking to a photographer, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about getting back into it. What do you shoot on? And he's like, well, I used to shoot on Nikon, but now all the pros are shooting on Sony. And I'm like, Sony?
Yeah.
Really? Like, Sony? Why? Like, they're not even a camera company. He goes, Sony is making the sensors for Nikon and for Canon and Fujitsu or whatever. Like, Sony is the one making those sensors. So why would I go with another company who's just going to mark that price up? Why not go directly with the company that makes it and go Sony? So this guy, I mean, he's a professional photographer. He went out and spent like $25,000, got himself a really nice Sony camera body. I don't know what model. And then got himself like 5 different lenses, one for each type of, thing that he might need it for, like macro, portrait, landscape, wide angle, telephoto. What are your thoughts on it? Like, what would you go with if you were to get into the industry right now? Not withstanding what you already own, completely new.
Well, I wouldn't buy a DSLR.
Really?
What?
What?
I'd buy a mirrorless.
Okay, well, sorry.
Wow.
DSLR, yes, mirrorless, yes.
Okay,
I mean,
right.
when
So
I say DSLR, I mean like professional
Right.
photography.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So let's clarify, right? Because there's a big difference, right? There's
Yeah.
a huge difference in price. There's a huge difference in quality, and there's a huge difference in what's being developed right now, right? So when you say DSLR, right, that to me says you're looking at a digital single lens reflex. Like
Okay, so if I should say digital photography.
you
There
should
you
just say
go. All
digital
right, yeah.
photography, right?
All right.
Because
Okay.
there's a difference in the capability. There are advantages and disadvantages to both, right?
Yeah.
I would tell you right now, if you were getting into it, to get mirrorless. Go
Yeah,
into
that's
the
what I would look for.
mirrorless.
And that's
Yes,
where Sony
mirrorless.
Sony reigns. Yeah.
So you have your big three, right? You've got your Sonys, you've got your Nikons, you've got your Canons. Each of them are going to be reasonable comparatively. If you're looking at Sony, I mean, you could spend as much or as little as you want. There are your consumer level, there are your prosumer level, there are your hobby professional, and then there are your professional levels. It all depends on your budget. I
get that.
Right. You're not going to get bad quality from any of them. If you're looking for fast, reliable speed, quality, Sony is going to be your best bet because of its price point, its lenses options, its autofocus system, and you just can't go wrong. I mean, their mirrorless system is really phenomenal.
I'll take that right there, Sony. I mean, like I said, the other guy said Sony, and Shawn says Sony. Hey, maybe I'll just go with Sony.
Here you go. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to have to look at Sony now. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I am Slick.
And I'm Justin. Remember when I said to go to our website? Have
Yeah.
you done it yet?
Oh.
TechtalkRadio.com.
I'm
Go
there
there now.
I'm there.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So I get this message from Andy today, and it starts out with this. It says, "Hey, we're doing the show tonight,"
Yeah.
and then about 3 minutes later, I get a follow-up message from Andy. I should say this is on Facebook Messenger, by the way.
Right.
And the follow-up message from Andy says, "Did you thumb up the wrong message?" Yeah, exactly. So he's looking at a thumb up
Right.
from days ago.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so I send him another thumb up, but this time I send it on the first message. "Hey, we're doing the show tonight," with a thumb up on it.
Yeah.
Am I the only one having problems communicating with Andy in social media?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
See,
Wait,
the thing is
what?
Andy usually does voice to text.
Oh yeah, all the time.
He's too lazy to actually type, so he just like does, and then he'll come back and like edit and be like, "Oh, sorry, I meant to say," and then he'll screw that one up, and then
Right.
he'll do it again, and so like about 4 messages into it, I'll finally understand what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I hate that, and I hit send, and it just drives me nuts. Now I have been using the Google Pixel 9, which I ended up keeping. You know, I'm not. I still carry my iPhone with me because not everything is completely ported over yet. So it still can do. I turned off iMessage, but I can still use it for the Wi-Fi features that I may need. But it's it's a little different typing on this thing. And the voice to text is like it's okay. So I don't know. Yeah. So sorry. about that.
Is he sending you voice messages? Because I finally got him to use some voice messaging on Facebook Messenger. He hadn't used it like at all ever until like this year.
Right. Sorry, it's like, but it gave me a notification that I had a comment on our message thread, and that's what I thought it was. I thought, did he send me a thumb on that previous message?
You can scroll it on that screen, right, Andy? If you take your finger and put it on the thing.
I know how to text. Shawn, and Shawn, have I given you a weird text?
It depends. It depends. If I respond directly to you, sometimes you respond in the group chat, and sometimes
Right.
you respond directly to me.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't know if it's meant for me or if it's meant for the group chat. So I have to check the group chat to make sure that I didn't respond to the wrong thing before I respond to you.
Oh boy! All right, I'll.
So if you ever get a message from Andy, everybody,
Yeah. Great.
it's got to be clear it's in the right thread.
All right, I want to remind everybody it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. If there was one tip that you could give, just one basic tip, what would it be? Justin?
Don't submit your data to 23andMe.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Justin is burying his face.
One tip: use
Yeah.
a password manager and stop using the same password on every website.
Absolutely.
And use a password manager and generate long, cryptic passwords.
How
Let it manage it for you.
about you, Slick?
Breathe, pause, take a breath. You don't have to respond right now. Think it through. Not everything needs an immediate response or action.
Great stuff. All right, we'll cover more of that stuff next week on the show. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in to this week's Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Slick.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Once again, go to our website, techtalkradio.com. We'll see you next week.